just made the list! Brock Lesnar!
And hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Stuart, and you're listening to Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast. I'm here to review Night 1 and Night 2 of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. As you can hear, it's just myself reviewing this time. Just kind of finding time to kind of me and Josh to kind of talk about nearly 6 hours of wrestling over 2 nights is kind of tough. So, especially when our whole thing is normally on the beginning of the week and not at the end of the week. So, it was kind of hard to find time to kind of do it. But the cool thing is, Josh will be back for our review of WrestleMania 37 Night 1 and Night 2. So that'd be cool. So for Takeover, it's just going to be me talking about it. So obviously stayed up really late watching this one. Probably should have went to bed like any normal sane person, but because it's me, I kind of like watching it there and then, so I can make sure I don't have to watch it all the night after. It's kind of how I work. But this is NXT Takeover Stand Deliver. The first kind of 2-night event that NXT I've actually done. Obviously it was on Wednesday and Thursday. I was really looking forward to it in some ways because of the kind of matches we were going to get. Especially like you got Walter and Tommaso Ciampa. You had the Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly feud having like unsanctioned match. Obviously you had Gonzales versus Shirai, that was going to be awesome. Obviously you had the tag team titles are going to be decided with new champions. So it's going to be awesome. So. And that's the stuff I can think of top of my head. Like, really cool stuff was in this show. So I was kind of really looking forward to it. I kind of would have liked if it wasn't just a 2-night event. I can understand why they do it, but I just think it's like, for us wrestling fans, there's so much wrestling this week. I think I've watched both of these NXT takeovers. I watched the NXT UK prelude that was just aired before Night 2. If you want to go on our Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod, you'll find that small little tweet review I did. It got liked by Noah Dahl, the guy in the first Heritage Cup match in that kind of show. So that was really awesome. But so that was on as well. But yeah, it's a lot of wrestling. Obviously, got WrestleMania happening on obviously tonight and on tomorrow night prior to this recording, as well as obviously the SmackDown was on last night with a kind of WrestleMania edition as well. So a lot of stuff. So yeah, but I find time to watch this as well. So yeah, it was really cool. So I'm really looking forward to talking about this because there's some really cool matches here and there's some really cool stuff. So obviously, Josh, you're back next time. So just have to put up with me for how long this review takes. So so obviously, kind of before we start, the one thing I always do now, I think last couple of reviews now on Twitter, is just put a poll out just after the show, because I'm kind of still up anyway, so makes sense. I put like a nice little poll right at the start to kind of get what the gauge of the community we've kind of built on our Twitter think of this show, and I got a 50% great, 40% good, 10% okay. I disagree with that, but yeah, that's what a poll is, and obviously no one thought it was bad, but 10 people voted for that. Thank you for those 10 people. So this Night 1 was really good. So so it's really cool stuff. So that's kind of enough of me chatting, kind of blabbing on. Let's go straight into talking about this show really. So obviously we just a quick note. We had announced a kickoff match between Zoey Starks against Toni Storm. Toni Starks has been with them ever since she kind of debuted. They pushed her quite nicely. She had some cool matches with Shirai. I've watched it, really cool. She's I really like the way she moves it, and kind of I think she's got real potential to kind of see if she can be next breakout star in the women's division. But yes, this was against Toni Storm that I was kind of hoping that, obviously, except for that like kind of title match again, I think it was, can't remember what it was, I think in one of the NXT specials they did, when they went against Shirai. Obviously, she lost that, but then it's kind of similar to like stuff like KUSHIDA, we're going to talk about in a bit, that it feels like they're just kind of wandering around a little bit for the moment, so hopefully she gets some kind of meaningful feud. Maybe it's against Zoey Starks, but I don't know. But so obviously this kind of match again, didn't really watch it. I think I watched bits of it, but I didn't really watch the finish. But obviously, we'll just quickly go over the results. Obviously, Zoey Starks beat Toni Storm. It's her first big win, so that's really cool for her. So maybe that might start a feud, because that'd be cool, because I think Zoey Starks hasn't really had that. She's been like shoehorned in with like the Shirai and kind of Raquel Gonzales feud. kind of. But yeah, I'm interested to see if she goes against like Toni Storm, that could probably bring out the best in her. So I'm intrigued to see where it goes. But yeah, Toni Storm got the win in the kickoff show. So yeah, awesome. Good for her. But yeah, when it comes to start of the show, obviously we had obviously I can't remember who the guitarist is, but obviously we had a nice little guitarist playing a like really awesome version of the US national anthem. That's obviously really cool. It's kind of a thing in NXT, because when it comes to the special ones, they kind of get really cool metal, kind of like really hard rock guitarists. That's probably the influence Triple H, probably, and a lot of the people probably in the show kind of like that kind of music. So that was cool. So we started off with that, and then we obviously kicked the show off with a match that, as I said, was kind of really looking forward to, with Pete Dunne going against KUSHIDA. This match was kind of set up in that kind of turmoil match they had. I think like Battle Royal, they had like the Go Home show before this, with who was going to decide the order of the kind of, was it Gauntlet Eliminator they were going to have. It's going to be after we talk about this match. But yeah, it's like they got eliminated by, like, because obviously trying to out technical wrestle each other, and they obviously eliminated themselves by going on the top rope. But yeah, it's obviously there was a thing backstage where Pete Dunne is kind of taking exception for KUSHIDA going and saying he's the best technical wrestler, when Pete Dunne kind of is. So yeah, it's kind of a I would say respect, or kind of like, you know, one-upmanship to see who was better kind of feud. So it's nothing really too crazy at the moment. So but again, it was kind of looking forward to, because Pete Dunne is amazing. We know how good he is. Obviously, a great match against Finn Balor a couple of months ago, and obviously anyone watching stuff in NXT UK knows the guy's amazing. So, and obviously KUSHIDA kind of been on the wayside again. It's like we had stop and start finishes. Obviously I done like my best match in February, won the best match in February against Johnny Gargano in that awesome North American Championship match they had. But ever since then, it's kind of been just shifting between. It kind of sucks, but yeah, I was really looking forward to this match. Just because you know it's going to be like a good like technical back and forth, and in some ways it didn't really disappoint with a lot of stuff with kind of like both hard hitting strikes at the beginning, kind of Pete Dunne kind of working on that arm as you expect. So obviously joint manipulation kind of works, and obviously KUSHIDA kind of trying to lock in that kind of springboard, kind of that was a hoverboard lock kind of thing. That's really cool. Kind of, it's basically a Kimura. It's Kimura, yeah, Kimura, like kind of like the thing that Brock Lesnar kind of did. That's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, obviously, one thing before I need to talk about is like I'm really not loving Pete Dunne's new music. It looks like they're doing that thing with all the music that CFO kind of made. They're slowly filtering out. That kind of sucks. But the problem is they're replacing it with music that isn't very appealing. Obviously, talk about it more in night 2 about certain wrestlers. Obviously, with the main events kind of music, not very good. So maybe that's just me. But yeah. But except for that, as you said, hard hitting, both kind of go trying to, like, you know, out kind of wrestle each other, and kind of like how trying to go for their submission moves. We had this cool thing on the outside by KUSHIDA doing that springboard kind of elbow thing he does, but on the stage. That was looking really nice, by the way. But yeah, obviously, as always with KUSHIDA, some of those submission holds he was in were looking really nasty. You know, trying to, you know, properly put in pushing your arms and in places they shouldn't be pushed. So it was really freaking over the top. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the kind of big spot of the kind of match was this kind of thing where I think KUSHIDA was trying to get a horrible lock on the top rope, and then it kind of turned into like some sort of like a Spanish fly type situation, if I can remember. But yeah, so, it was really cool. I guess he doesn't normally go to the top. He's not that kind of wrestler. But yeah, and then obviously we had kind of a bit with obviously. When he finally got really locked in that hoverboard lock, obviously Pete Dunne looks like he was out, but he just got his foot on top rope, not the middle rope, the top rope. So that was really cool. But yeah, kind of match ended with was it Pete Dunne kind of breaking KUSHIDA's fingers, kind of with a nice little submission move. Because Pete Dunne kind of hitting a roundhouse kick to KUSHIDA, then hitting his the bitter end to get the win in a very short match. It was only about 10 minutes. That was kind of, I would say, a bit disappointing in some ways, because you think you would give these guys what, there were 5 minutes, 15 minutes could have been a cool thing. But yeah, it was it kind of I felt like a taster of what we could get if you give these guys more time, and kind of I hope this is like a feud of like respect, and I really hope it's like maybe like a 5 or like a best 5 series, because if anyone knows me, I like stuff like that. I like best of 5 series. I don't know why. I think it's just if you've got 2 great wrestlers and you know they can work well together, put them in a best of 5 series, and the winner challenges the champion. I think it's a great idea. So hopefully they will do that. So, but yeah, hopefully it starts a feud. Great technical, kind of good match to start the show, because obviously they're two great workers. So yeah, good match. If I was going to give it a grade, I'll probably give it, what, a 3 out of 5? Maybe not 4, but it had potential to go to a 4 or 5, but they only done 10 minutes. It kind of sucked. So, but yeah, good match. Loved it. But yeah, next match they had, we were talking about just briefly in the other match, was the 6-man Gauntlet Eliminator match, with the winner going against Johnny Gargano in Night 2 for the North American Championship. Obviously, as the Go Home show set up, they kind of done a thing with the Battle Royal, where the final 6 that were in the Battle Royal, about 12 people, go into this match. But then after that, whoever gets eliminated in that order will be like scheduled. So the participants of the match were Leo Ruff, Elias Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, and LA Knight, formerly known as Eli Drake. So so again, it's like they kind of eliminated it, and obviously LA Knight obviously won that battle royals, that's why he's in last. But I'm not quite sure about the rules this one. I think it's more like every 2 competitors start off the match, and every, I think, 3 to 6 minutes, 5 minutes, another competitor join the fray. And 2, they're all in the ring, and yes, so it wasn't, I thought it would be like a gauntlet match in the sense of you both go against each other, whoever wins that, next person comes out, like, that's what I thought it was. But again, confusing rules, but it set up a pretty interesting kind of matchup. Obviously, as stated in obviously the order of things, we started off with Elias Scott and Leo Ruff. Elias Scott started off the match by attacking Leo Ruff before the match. Obviously, they've had some beef over kind of Elias Scott thinking that Leo Ruff is taking opportunities that he deserves. So they've got a little mini feud going. Started off getting really aggressive, with kind of Leo Ruff getting back into it. It's really cool. But basically the big spots of this before, obviously, Bronson Reed came out, was the kind of you had Elias Scott kind of countering kind of a dive from the outside by Leo Ruff. Kind of suplexed him onto the barricade, and then kind of this cool coast to coast thing on the upside looked really awesome. So, and obviously then Leo Ruff got back into it and kind of just done this really cool like kind of springboard, like jumped off the announce table and hit like a really awesome cutter. That again, there seems to be the cool thing at the moment with, like, you know, you got like Cody Rhodes, you've got how many times I've seen it in AEW and like NXT, like this like springboard cutters kind of moves are really cool. Obviously we're talking about MSK done a really cool one, as well as in their tag team match later on the night. But so obviously we had that cool bit, and then obviously, as I said, Bronson Reed came out. Leo Ruff was trying to kind of think, well, okay, I can dive over, you know, see what happens. Bad idea. Got caught by Bronson Reed, and obviously press slammed right back into the ring. And then we had a nice little thing with Bronson Reed and Leo Ruff were teaming up against Elias Scott. That was kind of cool with this. They kind of just really cool team up. It's kind of set up in the Battle Royal with Bronson Reed, but this nice little kind of standing vertical suplex he was doing, where I think there was a thing that LA Knight he did, I think, and he kind of just stood there for ages. It just shows the strength of the guy, and he's really cool. But then he was holding Elias Scott up, and then you just had Leo Ruff jump from Tom, hit a nice crossbody onto him. It was a really cool move. Obviously we had the very like kind of we had Bronson Reed sitting on Elias Scott for, I thought, Rikishi, but I think it was I can't remember his name at the moment. I think the former WWF champion that went against I think Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9. I might be right, but I can't remember his name at the moment. But yeah, so that's what it was kind of. But I thought Rikishi, because it's kind of thing, and yeah, and he also had this really cool like kind of double German suplex spot where kind of, I don't know how, it's kind of, as in it's wrestling, it's ridiculous, where it's like you suplex, so it's like you're holding him for the German, and the person that's you're holding is holding them, and it's just, yeah, it's based like a new version of like the Tower of Doom spot. But again, it looks really cool because obviously it's a good spot. So yeah, we had that. And obviously, as I said, like, Boss really looked great in this. I mean, they really made him shine in this match. Got to be honest, it's really cool. But yes, and obviously after that we had the new was it Millionaire? That is Cameron Grimes. That again, cool music, loving his gimmick, loving everything about it. And he did not disappoint when he came into the match. He kind of did a really cool moonsault on Bronson Reed, made sense. Try and take out the bigger man. Then obviously when it comes to the last time, it was obviously Scott getting teamed up on. Now Bronson Reed is getting teamed up on by Cameron Grimes. So, using his money for influence, like using his money, paid off Elias Scott. We gave him a ton of money, and they obviously teamed up to take out Bronson Reed. That makes sense, because obviously I'm loving the kind of Cameron Grimes gimmick in the moment. He's really going overboard on it. It's kind of like over the top, and it's like really cool. I'm hoping to get like a proper feud, because had a thing like on the Go Home show of NXT this last week is that kind of had a feud with Roderick Strong. I don't know if that's just for the night or turns into something, but I'm intrigued to see where that goes. But yeah, so obviously had that kind of stuff, a lot of team up moves from there. Then obviously after that we had Dexter Lumis come after. Again, Dexter Lumis was my pick to win, just because of the story they're having with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory and the way. So I thought that it would make sense for him to finally get the storyline wise for him to go against Johnny Gargano in night 2, but we'll find out in a bit. But yeah, obviously one thing that I kind of noticed from off camera is that obviously we got the first elimination of this eliminator when Cameron Grimes kind of hit the cave in on Leo Ruff with off camera when we weren't looking, and obviously Elias Scott pinned him, so he pinned him, so he got the kind of advantage. So was it Leo Ruff was the first person to get eliminated. But yeah, Dexter Lumis come in doing what you expect, kind of these really cool springboard kind of suplexes kind of things. There's a cool little back and forth between like Dexter Lumis and Bronson Reed. Again, both of the kind of powerhouses in the match, you could say. Kind of back and forth that's really cool. We had this really nasty kind of clothesline idiot, like it ended before obviously LA Knight came in, kind of over the top, where this like they got caught in the ropes. That was really unsettling. That was really it just looked uncomfortable. It looks like that was a nasty landing on the hardest part of the ring. But yeah, after that, obviously we got the final competitor, the man that has the advantage in LA Knight. What a shocker! He kind of done a promo, kind of just basically talking about how great he is. That's kind of when I think of LA Knight, I think of because recently I've been watching a lot of a Steven Larson show or Going in Raw kind of YouTube channel. Really big fan of their stuff, and he does a really good impression of LA Knight. It's you should definitely check it out. So that's when I was thinking about when he done that promo. But yeah, obviously we had when he came in, it's kind of a bunch to attack in LA Knight, because they've had a feud going on for the last couple of weeks since LA Knight's debut. Yeah, it was a cool moment that shows how good LA Knight is, where he's like, he done this really cool hanging net breaker and then leap to the top of the rope and kind of hits really cool suplex on Elias Scott. It just looks really cool. It's like you forget how actually good this guy is. I just wish they can kind of give him something a bit more, because at the moment he's just kind of having it's not going anywhere, but I hope they do something more with him. But kind of the setup something here that's really cool as well. But yeah, so obviously after that we had Dexter Lumis came in, slided in, locked in the silence on Cameron Grimes. Obviously there's a feud there that they had like was it middle of last year with the whole Dexter Lumis Cameron Grimes is not scared of Dexter Lumis. So obviously he locked in the silence on Cameron Grimes, and obviously Dexter Lumis while he had that locked in, LA Knight done this really cool he just basically flipped over him and kind of like a jackknife pound bomb or roll up on Dexter Lumis, and yeah, he got eliminated. I was like as a prediction, like for my predictions, I was like, damn, because it kind of screws up night 2 for me, so it's not great. But yeah, I mean, he's gone. I was shocked. So after that I kind of knew that who was going to win. With kind of it's pretty obvious after this point. But yeah, as I said in my notes, damn it that NXT, that was my pick, but it's fine. Obviously after that, we had a thing where kind of LA Knight got a kind of sent on from the top, so like he got his victory, and smugness didn't last long. He's eliminated, so we're down to the final 3. But before that, Dexter Lumis kind of locked in the silence on LA Knight on the outside, so he can fall asleep. So it looks like they're going to have a feud that I'm not against, but it'd be interesting. So I don't know if their kind of personalities would mesh very well, but it'd be interesting, because Dexter Lumis I'm still on the fence with. I'm not a massive fan of his. I mean, in the sense of in-ring ability, as a character, he's brilliant. But it just feels like, I don't know, maybe it's just I'm slowly warming up to him, but that's just me. But yeah, so it looks like they're having a feud. But yeah, so obviously had the final 3. We had Bronson Reed, Elias Scott, and Cameron Grimes. That was after that, I kind of knew it was Bronson Reed, because a lot of predictions kind of thought if it wasn't going to be Dexter Lumis, it's going to be Bronson Reed. We had, but obviously after that, it was good back and forth between them. Obviously, Elias Scott took the next eliminated Cameron Grimes. That was like, so all that money you paid for doesn't mean it doesn't mean squat when you win an elimination match. So obviously Cameron Grimes is out. So then we're down to the final two of Elias Scott and Bronson Reed. I was kind of surprised because it wouldn't be what picks I would have done. But again, Elias Scott is really good as well as Bronson Reed. So it's just a good, and obviously stars from high flying kind of offense versus kind of big strong man. It's really cool stuff. So we obviously had this really cool spot when Elias Scott kind of powerbombed Bronson Reed off the the top rope, and he kind of like slammed him onto the hardest part of the ring, the apron. It looked really uncomfortable. It didn't look great. And then obviously Elias Scott hit this beautiful 450 splash on Bronson Reed, and he kicked out. So, but then it looked beautiful. I mean, I always love a 450 splash. Then near the end, we had a kind of three of these lovely house cool kicks. Love the sound that they make. Don't know if that's the thing of the slaps that you can't do now in WWE. But yeah, we kept hitting him again and again, getting a bit over cocky about it, trying to take him out. But it makes sense because if you want to take it, everyone knows that with a guy like Bronson Reed, you've got to hit him multiple times because the guy is really strong. So yep, and then obviously just when you kind of hit the third one, obviously Bronson Reed kicked him in the face. It looked really cool. Elias Scott was kind of still working on that arm, I'm guessing, but it didn't work. And then near the end, we had a cool thing. Bronson Reed hit a nice power bomb on Elias Scott. Then he went to hit a really cool reverse pile driver, or like the dead eye from Hangman Adam Page on Elias Scott. Then went to the top, hit to the tsunami. I can't say it great, but my God, I was really a fan of Wade Barrett's kind of tsunami. Like the way he says it, it's so cool. Sounds great. But hit that from the top, big splash, pins Elias Scott. Gets the win in a very, very fun and enjoyable match. I was enjoying it, really. I thought it was one of these matches that would find this kind of convoluted and kind of... I thought it was going to be one of these things that just felt like, oh God, can it end already? But the pacing was really good. The eliminations were timed quite nicely. Again, when you think about it in the sense of who won, it makes sense because obviously Bronson Reed, it seems like they're really trying to push him after he's come back from his injury. Because he was on a good run before I think he was injured. So, I mean, I'm intrigued to see what they do with him. I mean, again, he's one of those wrestlers that's kind of doing things that people his size should do. It's kind of the norm now with big, strong guys now. So, it's not a bad thing. It's really cool. It just makes more interesting stories. But, I mean, obviously, when Dexter Lumis would have made more sense in storyline-wise. But, yeah, I was intrigued in night 2 to find out what would happen. But we'll find out then. But for this match... Again, it was just fun, entertaining. Everyone kind of looked good, so no one came out looking bad. Everyone was given a moment, and so it just shows that the North American division is looking good. It's got some really good, kind of intriguing matchups that I don't think it's really had since its inception. Really, it's the first time I think the division feels like it's got multiple challenges. Well, that's my opinion, anyway. So it was really cool stuff. So. Good stuff. So after that, we get to the match that kind of was my favourite of the night. And I guess a lot of people was online was their kind of favourite because any match that involves Walter is always a spectacle. Because the guy I don't think he's had a bad match since his run as an NXT United Kingdom champion. This obviously we're talking about Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT United Kingdom Championship. A match that was kind of set up. I'm sure it was supposed to be a situation where Timothy Thatcher was involved. A lot of stuff with the Imperium, his kind of recruiting kind of thing. At the moment, trying to recruit. Obviously, there was a thing with Killian Dane that I don't think's going anywhere. But there was an Imperium trying to recruit him because obviously used to be one of the members of Imperium. Used to be a part of Sanity and Alexander Wolf, so it made sense. And obviously with Thatcher trying to recruit him and Ciampa, especially Thatcher that had previous with Walter and like being a part of his, I can't pronounce it, but like a promotion kind of or a faction in Progress Wrestling in the UK. So there was a lot of there. I don't know what happened. There's rumours that there was a little COVID outbreak a couple of weeks ago. So a lot of wrestlers had to be self-isolating or were removed. Can't confirm that, but it made sense because a lot of things have changed with this feud with Tommaso Ciampa with Walter. Kind of felt, wasn't forced, but kind of felt like, okay, we've got to have a match with here. But I mean, it was good. I was looking forward to it in the sense because obviously Walter, hard hitting, you don't want taking his chops, and Tommaso Ciampa is Tommaso Ciampa when he wants to be. He's been a bit on the fence lately, but that's kind of the story going in with the whole thing with trying to get the old Tommaso Ciampa, you know, the Black Heart, the Psycho Killer, the man that was basically that portrayed everyone to become the NXT champion. That's the guy they wanted, and yeah, I mean, and it definitely showed that in this match. I mean, and the kind of story was trying to get the old Ciampa out, and then obviously the story for Ciampa was to try and take out that chopping hand, his right hand, because obviously I don't care how much you pay me, I'm not taking a water chop to the chest. It's just not happening, people. Not happening. But yeah, again, but yeah, so kind of match up. Just quick note, really not a fan of the kind of change of the horns on Walter's kind of theme. I know they're probably doing it for copyright reasons, so it doesn't feel like they have to pay, because obviously it's a really famous, music. But yeah, it just sounds so tacky, and it just takes away the enjoyment of that music for me, coming from my kind of music production background. Just my opinion, but anyway, they're kind of doing it lately. But yeah, as you expect, it was a hard-hitting physical matchup. We had a thing where we were trying to go chop early, but Tommaso Ciampa found a way to get away from it, and kind of think after this, it's kind of Tommaso Ciampa kind of, I said, unleashed Tommaso Ciampa. He went crazy. We're talking about like proper like stiff shots on Walter. I mean, you got. He was basically trying to like really take him out, like play him at his own game. Because you said it's more of a, you want to release the old Tommaso Ciampa? Okay, you've got it. Sometimes in life, you just need motivation. And with Tommaso Ciampa in this match, he definitely did. Obviously, we didn't get as many chops to us. Like, obviously, we got one awesome sounding one when he got Tommaso Ciampa, I think, trying to go for like a clothesline in the corner. And then Tommaso, Walter just basically chopped him down. It's beautiful. I love Walter's chops. I'll never take it though. But yeah, but the big spot of the night for this match was the kind of Walter on the outside, when they were kind of brawling on the outside, the announce table. Tommaso, Walter kind of like laying him up on the announce table, and then trying to, going to hit him on his chop, but Tommaso Ciampa moves out of the way, and it breaks the covering of the announce table. Obviously, they probably sawed it up to make it look cool, but yeah, I mean, it looked really awesome. Like, it was like he chopped it, thing went in half, and there's like the layering on top of the announce table just clean off. Just it kind of show how freaking devastating those chops are, and if that can do that to stuff like that, wonder what that does to someone's chest. But yeah, obviously that was kind of the big spot of the night. Yeah, obviously this bit was like kind of back and forth. Obviously, Tommaso Ciampa working on that. After that, working on the hand, kind of doing like great kicks to the hand, kind of working on it. Makes sense, because if you take away kind of the chopping hand of Tommaso Ciampa, of Walter, I mean, kind of taking away like 2/3 of his arsenal. So it made sense tactical wise, but it kind of worked up in this moment where Walter was trying to hit a Boston Crab, try and lock in a Boston Crab, I mean, but because of his damaged hand, he can only hit a Boston Crab, half Boston Crab on the leg, and then it kind of transitioned into STF, but couldn't really lock it in because of his hands really damaged. I like that kind of storyline in my wrestling. But yeah, obviously we had this really cool bit where Walter Tommaso Ciampa was kind of doing these kind of clotheslines to Walter, just wouldn't go down. I think I put 12, but I kind of lost count. It's one of those things that, you know, the crowd, if there was like a massive crowd watching this, there would have been, if it wasn't for the pandemic, would have loved that, because it's kind of that kind of moment where like the crowd would love it. But yeah, Tommaso Ciampa just hitting everything at this point. We had obviously trying to hit, there was a Willow, I want to say Willow's bell, but obviously on Walter, but he couldn't lock it in because of how big the guy is. But near the end, we had nice, Tommaso Ciampa hit the fairy tale ending to Walter, but he kicked out. A great exchange for both of these men, like hard hitting strikes, as you expect. We had a bit where Walter tries to do a power bomb on Tommaso Ciampa, but Tommaso Ciampa obviously working on that arm, trying to Fujimori armbar, if I pronounced that correctly, on him, and he was trying to bite his hand and all that kind of stuff, properly trying, like, intense. I love that kind of stuff. But yes, obviously, but the kind of match finished with, obviously, Walter had enough at this point. He was like, no, I've had enough of this. So then he was kind of working on doing shots to kind of Tommaso Ciampa's neck. Obviously, that's the thing that took him out for a year. Then it's nice like neck snap, with a thing where you put like both your feet in the neck and just kind of twist it. It looks horrible. Done that. Hit another power bomb on Tommaso Ciampa for a 2. And then at the end, kind of had this thing where Walter hit this really cool sleeper suplex on him, and then after that kind of hit one last vicious chop with the injured hand on Tommaso Ciampa, right near the throat, kind of neck area, kind of near that area where the chest is. Hit that, boom, 1, 2, 3. no surprise, Walter retains. That wasn't surprised. Like, going to this match, no one thought Tommaso Ciampa was going to become the UK champion. For us, it was just hard. We were just glad we get a match that we know was going to be good, and in some ways, it didn't disappoint. It was it's one of those matches that you feel they can do more, and it's like, and if this is like just them tamed, it was really good. It said a great hard hitting match. Love that it brings out the old Tommaso Ciampa. I want to bring that kind of psycho killer back, because again, he was really good when he was like that. So I'm hoping it turns into a story. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a situation where obviously Walter's going to go back to NXT UK, where was Tommaso Ciampa feuds with the remaining members of Imperium. And then probably will be a situation when Thatcher comes back. He'll probably be on his side, but then probably turn on Tommaso Ciampa, and he'll become like the leader of Imperium while Walter's in the UK. It's a guesswork here, but that's what I would do. So, but yeah, great stuff. Again, if you have a chance, check this match out. So, so let's talk about the next match. Obviously, we had a triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championship with MSK, the Dusty Road Tag Team Classic winners, going against the Grizzly Young Vets, the team they beat in that final, and then Ligero del Fantasma, if I pronounced that correctly, in a triple threat that was really excited for the fact that MSK has been booked really good since their debut a couple months ago. Late to the party with Grizzly Young Vets, but I like kind of Zach Gibson's kind of way. He says, soon to be recognised. Terrible Scouse accent. I apologise for any Scouse listeners out there, but yeah, but I kind of love it. And obviously Ligero del Fantasma kind of has that kind of really cool high flying kind of feel. I love it with Santos Escobar. It's kind of really cool, and obviously they've proved a lot with the Dusty World Classic Tag Team Classic. They're really good in that, so it shaped up to be a great match, and it kind of did not disappoint in some ways, because obviously you expecting high flying moves, great spots, kind of like, I want to say spot fest, because obviously you've got MSK in there, you've got all these three can do really cool stuff in the ring that not a lot of people can do, and it didn't disappoint in that sense. Again, there's a lot of moves in here, so this might be a lot of stuff, because obviously I couldn't keep a track of it. I really tried when I was watching it with my notes, but it's just so many stuff, I can't do it. So it kind of be more of the highlights, the big bits. But yeah, obviously at the start it was kind of more of a back and forth, kind of all teams getting their licks in, kind of getting all the big moves in, kind of no one's getting the advantage that I kind of love. There was this one spot when you got with Ligero del Fantasma hitting this really cool double, I think like Nas Carter was kind of hanging off the top rope, kind of hanging down, and obviously both like doing coast to coast, double coast to coast on NASCAR. It looked really cool. So yes, Wesley, I loved like kind of like counter into a Pele kick. Forgot how like when he got into the match, he kind of went like, you know, he is, I would say, the definition of kind of hot tag. So yeah, it was really awesome stuff. But the big move, kind of best part of the match, was kind of bit when you had this bit where Zach Gibson was holding Nas Carter's kind of hand on the was it top rope. Then kind of James Drake went on the other side of the ring, kind of drop kick, take out that hand that obviously the injured a couple of weeks ago. I think it was here or maybe out, but he took him out. Then obviously James Drake tagged in Zab Gibson, and then he hit a single arm DDT on him, take him out, and then locked in the Shankly Gates on Wesley. We had this cool moment when kind of Nas Carter tried to get back into the ring, but kind of James Drake kind of holding him down to make sure he could stop him. And then we had this really cool thing where it's been done before, but it's still a really cool spot where you kind of had I think it was Nas Carter kind of holding kind of Wesley's hand to stop him from tapping. It's kind of I think you've seen it before. I think with the Revival DIY, and obviously we had also the other one with, I think I saw it with the Young Bucks a couple of years ago at New Japan. So it's not a new spot, but it's really cool. But yeah, stopped them from tapping, it made sense. And then Mendoza kind of came in to break it up. But yeah, it's kind of, I thought that would have been a moment when they would have won the tag titles. But again, they're my pick, because I was thinking they've lost so many times. Why are they not like? It would be nice for them to once win a big match and win those tag titles. Maybe they will eventually. Maybe that's the feud. But hopefully. But yeah, so obviously the last big spot we had was kind of like on the outside when you had like kind of Grizzly Young Vets taking out Wesley on one side with a Doomsday device, and then on the other side with Mendoza being taken out by MSK, hitting this kind of double stomp hammer kind of combo. Again, it's MSK, everything always looks cool. So yes, I took both of them out of the match, so they're not going to win it. Near the end, we had the Grizzly Young Vets trying to hit the ticket to Mayhem, but Nas Carter escapes. They both hit this. Nas Carter hit this really cool double springboard cutter. Remember I said earlier about a lot of springboard cutters at back on both men. Took them both out, and then obviously MSK hit their finisher. I think it's like a combo. I can't remember what it is. again, most of their stuff could be finishes. MSK are just really energetic and high flying. I love it. They get the pin and hit the finisher and get the win. So it makes sense that MSK win, because obviously they won the Dusty World Classic. They probably were going to win the tag titles if it wasn't for the tag team champions at the time. Name escaped me at the moment. Kind of didn't have one to get injured, would have probably won them from it anyway. So it makes sense that they're just kind of continuing the story anyway. Me personally, I really wanted to get the Grizzly Young Vets because they thought they would have won, but it's not a good thing about this match. Whoever won, it was fine because they're all great tag teams and a really good kind of division. It needs to be built up again because obviously with it felt a bit with the Undisputed Era now no more. It kind of needs that kind of big team to kind of rally around. And I think MSK could be that team. Grizzly Young Vets look good. They can really build up that tag team division again because it kind of needs to be built up. It's getting there, but this match has really shown that they've got depth to really build it up as a really good division again. So I can't wait for it. MSK I'm a huge fan of. Obviously, they're formerly Rascals from Impact Wrestling, if I remember correctly. But they've really built these guys really good. Normally when they push people to the moon, I'm a bit hesitant because it's like, are they worthy of it? But you can see from their first match they had that these guys have got something that's going to be really entertaining. So I'm not against it because obviously if it continues to kind of feud between Grizzly Young Vets, obviously we found out number one contender of who's going to challenge those tag team titles in night 2. We'll talk about that when we get to night 2. But yeah, so so they've got the first challenger, but it wouldn't surprise me if their first feud is against Grizzly Young Vets again. I still think it might be a short reign. Maybe finally get the Grizzly Young Vets to get those titles because I think they deserve it. 2 Dusty World Cup losses, and they're now in this tag team match for the titles they've lost. So hopefully it might be that could start like a sort of like a storyline that would be cool. But it's a really good match. It was high flying, it was fast paced. Again, I couldn't follow it all. Really quick, really done, and everyone looked good. And when a match like that, that's what's important. So MSK Tag Champions, congratulations. Can't wait to see what you do next for the next couple of months with those titles. So, now we get to the main event of Night 1, where we had the NXT Women's Championship on the line, when you had Io Shirai going against Raquel Gonzales. Yes, I got that name right. Always messes with me, that name, because, me and names just don't get on. But yeah, Raquel Gonzales, they've really built her up very well, ever since, I think, around about time mid last year. Ever since she's debuted, they've been building Gonzales as kind of the one that's going to take that title off Io Shirai. Ever since that time at War Games when she powerbombed Io Shirai through the table and she pins the champion to get her team the win, you were waiting for the time when she would get a title shot and take the title from her. But this feud's been really good. Io Shirai's kind of she's faced all comers and put on a great show. She's been a great champion and kind of like, again, it's like building all challenges, but I like that she went for her. It's like she knows Gonzales is like the biggest threat and kind of the one she wants to go for. And I like the way she just said, "I want you next." Some people say, "Oh, that's silly," but no, it's like Io Shirai's character's best competition. She thinks she's the best in the world. And you can argue she is the best, one of the best women's wrestlers out there that I've seen anyway. I would like to see more. Was Io Shirai definitely. So again, the build up obviously had the go home show with the whole kind of every like kind of segment. It was kind of like Io Shirai was kind of attacking Gonzales like brawl throughout the night. You even had a bit where Gonzales threw Io Shirai through like a wall. Seems to be a thing. Obviously, it was really badly built wall, but yeah, it's like really cool stuff. And obviously near the end, had a situation where fighting at the end of the match after the Gauntlet Eliminator Battle Royal type thing. And then we had this Io Shirai. It's always guaranteed she's gonna fly. And obviously done a nice little thing where she was stood on top. She was standing tall at the end of the go-home show. And we all know sometimes with wrestling logic is that if you, at the end on the go-home show before a pay-per-view, come out on top, there's a good chance you're probably losing on the pay-per-view. And in the case of this match, that definitely is the case. But yeah, it was a great battle. A bit of a slower pace than I was expecting. Again, a lot of good kind of Io Shirai, I think, trying and take out Gonzales, obviously trying to eliminate her power because that's kind of what her strength is, kind of thing. But but obviously the kind of best part of this match was kind of the bit where you had Raquel Gonzales trying to hit her power. Was it one-handed powerbomb finish? And obviously Io Shirai kind of counted into a really cool crossface. Really, I don't know if it's just because of the way it looked, but it really looked weird when Raquel Gonzalez. It looks like she was smiling when she was in it. I don't know if that was intentional, just because of the way the way it was kind of looked. But yeah, I just thought that was a bit weird. But yeah, obviously we had a bit where Raquel Gonzalez got out of it, then kind of got out of it, and then we kind of balled to the outside, kind of at the ramp area. Then you had Io Shirai hit her famous moonsault to Raquel Gonzalez on the outside. Then obviously you got Raquel kind of moving further and further up the ramp, and then we had a nice running Meteora on Raquel Gonzalez onto the stage. And then after that you're thinking, okay, where's Io Shirai? That seems to be her trend, that if you can find anything tall to climb up to and jump off, she will. It's kind of been a staple of her title reign. And she did. She found that nice little skull that had the NXT logo on it that's been like kind of presented, and she done a very, very awesome flying crossbody from the top to take out Raquel Gonzalez. Really awesome stuff. It's the irony of it started with jumping off something to win the title, so it's ironic that with her last title defense she's jumping off another prop off the stage. That I just thought about now. It's really cool. But yes, she took her. She done that, but brought her back in the ring, hit another moonsault from the top, hit her finisher. But Raquel Gonzalez kicked out. And what I loved about it is they kind of made it a big deal. Like, no one kicks out of this move. No one for months has kicked out of this move. Again, I love that when it's like, that's what like building up a finisher and then kicking out. It's like very old school. I like that because it means you just know that it makes the person that kicks out like look like $1 million. That's why I always think with Kenny Omega, when whoever kicks out of that one winged angel, it's probably going to be Adam Page. It's going to be a big deal. But in this case here, same thing. I love the way the commentating team did that. But yes, obviously at the end, obviously Raquel Gonzalez rolled out the ring after this point. Io Shirai went for a dive, but obviously was caught by Raquel Gonzalez. She hit her one-arm powerbomb and finished it on the outside. Took her back in the ring, kind of trash talking to her, kind of say, why won't you just stay down? That kind of stuff. Then we had a nice back and forth between them two, and then we had a nice little palm strike by Io Shirai. But but obviously the match kind of ended with Raquel Gonzalez after this kind of back and forth, hitting a kind of huge clothesline. That they go inside or out. I love those clotheslines. You know, the ones that, like the power ones that make you just turn inside out. Always looks awesome. Hit that and then set her up for her one-arm slam. Got the pin, got the win, and we have a new NXT Women's Champion in Raquel Gonzalez. Great, really good match. Had some older cool spots. You were kind of waiting for Gonzalez to win, but Io Shirai really put on a good show here. And yeah, kudos and kind of credit to the booking department in NXT that they've really booked Gonzalez to look like amazing. And she's really, at first she was supposed to be Dakota Kai. I point out she got ejected from the match early on, as you point out as well. But it feels like ever since we thought she'd just been a muscle, but they really pushed her as this kind of, breakout star from the group. The kind of, you could sit there and see outshine Dakota Kai, that might turn into a feud. Maybe that might be the probably second or first defense and go against Dakota Kai. I feel Dakota Kai is going to turn on it at some point. Do a very Triple H or kind of Shawn situation where you're supposed to elevate me, not the other way around. That seems like where they're going. Or she might play it like, as friends. I mean, we've seen, obviously we'll talk about it later on, with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, with looking like you're building up your friends, wondering why he's not annoyed, and then all of a sudden he turns on him because he was annoyed in the first place. So I love it. They had this bit right at the end when she's celebrating, and he had this steam and kind of was it sparks going off, a bit over the top, but wouldn't surprise me if that's another dig at AEW's kind of deathmatch kind of mistake they had where the explosion didn't go off. I think that's going to be a joke for a while this year. Probably won't be into the next pay-per-view when we can all forget that kind of mishap. But I'm loving it. Gonzalez, I'm intrigued to see where she goes. I'm assuming Dakota Kai's our first challenger will be like a turn at some point. We could always it's probably going to rematch against Io Shirai. Probably in the next couple of weeks. They always kind of big up. The good thing now they're moving to Tuesdays. Maybe don't have to go too crazy with these kind of big matches. But yeah, I mean, if there's probably going to be like some sort of special, and there's going to be a rematch, and then it wouldn't surprise me after that Dakota Kai, and Dakota Kai is our first real challenge. That's where I think it's going to go. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. But ended the show really well. Have the nice good feel moment with the champion winning the title change. So we had two title changes on this show. So yeah, it's really good. It definitely felt like a WrestleMania worthy kind of like in the area of like that's where the big changes happened. So yeah, good show. I think this was a great main event, but I really think Walter and Tommaso Ciampa was the best match of night one. Obviously, the other matches was obviously Pete Dunne and KUSHIDA. I hope continue their feud. The Gauntlet match was fun, nothing crazy on it. Was very entertaining. Yeah, really good. I really agree with the poll here. It's like really agree with it. Really good. So that's night one. Obviously, we'll go into night two next. But I would probably get a 7 or 8 out of 10. But yeah, just really top to bottom, really solid. There was some bits that are kind of annoying with the sidecasting with, I forgot to mention, on USA Network, where the kind of silence when there were adverts that kind of took me out of some of the matches, but when you got used to it was fine. But yeah, but it was really good. So definitely check that out. Obviously, this is the end of me reviewing night one. So obviously next we're going to talk about night two. But before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor.
Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's Podgo at podgo.co. And be sure to add our podcast, the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast, in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of your application.
So we're back. So let's talk about night two of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. This show was more. I again put a poll out just after minutes after the show ended on Thursday night or Friday morning in the case of us in the UK. But so obviously I put a poll out. 14 people voted. Thank you for those people that voted. But this got a bit of more share of the vote with 64.3% of people saying it was a great show. Yeah, 21.7% saying it was good. 14.3% saying it was okay. That I 100% disagree with. But obviously no one said it's bad. I don't think anyone's ever going to say this takeover's bad. I've never seen a bad takeover. I mean, I haven't seen a good. I've seen a meh, but I've never seen a bad one. So because they just deliver all the time. But yeah, and I agree with this. Like, it was really great. I would sit there and say that night two was better than night one, just because it felt, I think it was the only one that was on Peacock. It was only on the service. So it felt like that kind of thing. And I think they kind of left the kind of big story matches, or the kind of big, the kind of big story matches on kind of this night. But nothing to take away from night one. Night one was great. I love night one. But I think night two was just a little bit better. I think it might be to do with the main event. Because night one main event was really good, really solid, liked it. But again, night two was just had the Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly the personal feud. It's kind of it deserved to be the main event, and it kind of felt you had the story behind it. You could sit there and say that maybe match wise was Raquel Gonzales and Shirai, but then storyline wise, the best match was Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. But yeah, has cool stuff setting up for it. Obviously, you had that ladder match between Devlin and Santos Escobar. That we're talking about in a bit. But it shaped up again to be another great night of pro wrestling. So I was really looking forward to watching this one. So let's kind of dive straight into it. Obviously, again, we had another kickoff match with it was Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. Killian Dane, I kind of thought there was a storyline against Imperium a couple of weeks ago where Drake Maverick kind of was saying, "Where's my friends?" That then all of a sudden Killian Dane just turns up. I'm kind of not a fan of that, but it's just me. But yeah, so he's back. So they're going against the former NXT Tag Team Champions with Breezango. Again, I saw bits of this match go, so I do sometimes watch with this one more than the other kickoff match. But yeah, it was with the winner. Kind of point out the winner would get a number one contender. It would be another contender for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Obviously, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick won by, as always, Killian Dane powerbombing Drake Maverick onto, I think, Tyler Breeze. Got the pin, got the win. So looks like they're going to be the challengers to face. The first challengers to face MSK. Wouldn't surprise me in a couple of weeks or next week. Well, the next show they're going to do. But yes, again, it's kind of what they're building towards, but it kind of just feels like they've kind of been on the wayside and then back into it. The good thing is with their kind of Killian Dane's strength, Drake Maverick's kind of really good high flying against MSK. It could mesh quite well. So I'm looking forward to it. So so that's they done that in the cook-off. So, but for the main show, we started off with a ladder match for the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Championships, both hanging from the top of the ring, both of the titles, with the both champions, with Devlin going against Santos Escobar. Yes, this was kind of inevitable ever since I think probably went about this time last year, when William Regal kind of set up a cruiserweight tournament, kind of just have the interim cruiserweight champion, as obviously Devlin, who won it with Calais last year, couldn't defend it because obviously we had travel restrictions because of COVID. So they you said interim, but in a sense they kind of stripped him of it in some way. Because I watched a lot of NXT UK, so I'm assuming he defended it a couple of times, but I don't think he did. But yes, obviously after that we had Santos Escobar, and he's took the ball and went with it, because he's been really damn good in this cruiserweight. He's really elevated it. So what he says is true. It's like cruiserweight division was on its last legs when when it was in 205 Live, was it on Raw? They didn't know what to do with it. Couldn't really hit heights. And the best thing they ever did was put the cruiserweight division on NXT that knows how to build championships and knows how to put on good matches. But yeah, ever since he won that tournament, it's good matches. I think. Can't think, but he's been really good. He even had that really good match against Karrion Kross, if I pronounced that correctly. That was really cool, really fun. So, but yeah, he's really elevated his stock. So that was really good. And Devlin, I only know snippets of him. Obviously, I think what's that match he had with Finn Balor a couple of years ago. And yeah, I mean, and obviously I like his way he talks, or his attitude, really good. Very Finn Balor. You can see he's kind of really emulating him very well. But yeah, I was really looking forward to this, because obviously with the Go Home show, it felt like it was just going to be a match. But then Shawn came out and then threw the ladder into the ring. And yeah, and it set up a ladder match that's very similar to the undisputed Intercontinental Championship that Shawn and Razor Ramon had many years ago. So it had that there were spots like that in this match. But yeah, it's I was intrigued to see if they can, because ladder matches you expect spot fest after spot fest after spot fest. But in this case, it did feel like they would tame for 2 or 3 big spots. But it was very good, intense, hard hitting, using the ladder as really as you should be, trying to take out your opponent with shots to the head, chucking him into it, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was really fun, cool sport kind of stuff. We obviously started off with this really cool springboard moonsault from Devlin onto Santos Escobar on the outside. It's probably his signature move, but just the way it was very beautifully glided. Yes, obviously, but we had this bit where obviously it wasn't long before we had the bit where obviously Devlin tried to climb. Got there and tried to climb, but obviously Santos Escobar stopped him, as you'd expect, and Santos Escobar put the ladder into the corner and set up a spot that they were going to do later. But yeah, they're trying to back and forth, trying to throw each other into it. But Santos Escobar, sorry I keep butchering that name, throwing him Devlin into that ladder again, looked really nasty. But Devlin got his revenge early with obviously a ladder was balanced on top of the I don't know how to describe it, balanced on top of the top rope. And obviously Santos Escobar trying to do the same to Devlin, but Devlin threw him into that and he went face first into that ladder. Always loved those spots. But yeah, it was a good back and forth there. I lost a bit because obviously my stream was getting a bit funny at this point. I guess in the second night it was just getting really weird, so I did miss a lot of a bit of stuff. But yeah, had this it's really cool. Was it jumping off Devlin jumping off the ladder? It was always set up and hit a tornado DDT. Awesome spot. Always loved those stuff. Even had the best spot of the match when Devlin there was a set up ladder more near the corner and climbed to the top, and you can see he can try to balance, and Devlin hit this beautiful looking moonsault. Cody Rhodes would be proud of that. It was a very, very sleek, is the word, moonsault. Hit it. Really cool stuff there. Obviously had a bit with Santos Escobar also got a a backdoor body drop onto the ladder that would have hurt. I would hate that. But yeah, obviously it looked like at this point both men are just fighting, trying to get to that ladder. But it was only a matter of time before his boys, his guys, his La Familia, if you would say, Escobar's tag team came in, attacked Devlin at this point, took him out, threw him to the steps, and then left the spot. You thought, okay, that's how it's going to end, as you expect. So you had Santos Escobar taking that, climbing up, And then you've got, Jordan Devlin come in, just throws a ladder at Santos Escobar, as you expect. Just throw a ladder, because, why not? Throws a ladder. I even forgot about the awesome kind of, and then they kind of done an awesome Spanish fly off the ladder as well. That seems to be the sport you always do. They overdo Spanish flies, I think, a little bit now. But it seems to be the go-to move in cruiserweight matches. But yeah, that was an awesome spot as well. But but the kind of spot right at the end, obviously the match that Seth did was obviously they're both climbing up the ropes, as you expect, back and forth. But Santos Escobar kind of like won the day, pushed Jordan Devlin off the ladder, and broke a ladder. It was already like predeterminedly set up in the corner. Broke it in half. I love it when ladders do that. He was out, climbed up to the top of the ring. Santos Escobar grabbed both Cruiserweight Championships, and he is the undisputed WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion. And yeah, really fun match. I would say it's a really good ladder match. I mean, I like that they kind of they could have went crazy with the spots, but they're kind of limited by it. I think Jordan Devlin showed that he can do some crazy spots from top of the rope. I should have probably been a fan before, but I haven't seen much of him. So hopefully, if I start watching NXT UK, I might check him out. But yeah, it was no surprise here. Kind of my pick was kind of Santos Escobar, because again, he doesn't deserve to lose the title. And obviously, Jordan Devlin's not going to be hanging around for a while. He's still going to be NXT UK, so it made sense that Escobar was going to win. But yeah, I mean, it was just had great spots. It's always the match. This reason you always put ladder matches like at the beginning, because ladder matches always fun, cool spots, always gets you going for the start of the show. So yeah, so obviously he gets the win. There was a nice bit at the end where I think it's like his son at the top of the ramp, he gave him one of the titles. Got a feeling he'd be keeping that one as a souvenir. And yeah, nice little spot of all celebrating with Santos Escobar, with his kid, with the Cruiserweight Championship. So yeah, so it was a match that was bound to happen eventually, because obviously COVID restrictions kind of stopped it. But yeah, Santos Escobar, yeah. I don't know who's going to take them titles from him. I don't know. I think I don't know if the Cruiserweight division, some of the contenders for the Cruiserweight division has kind of drifted into the kind of North American Championship division. But I'm intrigued to see who takes that title. But yeah, I don't think he's losing that title for at least another couple more months. So I'll be interested to see who actually takes that title from him. But yeah, good match, good way to start the show, and yeah, loved it. So, but yeah, after that we had the another championship match. We had a tag team match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship with the new champions, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart, gone against the Way, involving Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Again, this felt like a really weird kind of tag on kind of feud. It's kind of started around about the time, obviously, with the whole thing with the kind of the Way, kind of a Johnny Gargano and all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of took a back burner for a bit during the Dusty Cup. But obviously it was Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart that beat the Way, if I remember, yeah, that kind of eliminated from the tournament. So there was kind of bad blood there. And there was when after Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon won the titles from Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzales on the same night, by the way, that Stu feels a bit of a pet peeve, but it's fine because obviously Raquel got a moment. So there's maybe more cooler storylines coming their way. So yeah, it's fine. But there was a bit when everyone's celebrating. You got Candice LeRae, and then you were looking at like in the back, kind of looking at that should have been us. So that kind of set up a really cool feud there. So, but yeah, I mean, again, it's like these are 4 great women that kind of like really good in the ring. Ember Moon's been awesome. Really got back to her kind of level that she was before. You've got Shotzi Blackheart that really been impressed ever since that match against Shirai. She's really leaps and bounds, and I'm kind of been really impressed by her lately. You obviously got Candice LeRae is obviously awesome because she's really good. I like her character change, really good. And Indy Hartwell, I'm still on the fence at the moment. I haven't seen anything too crazy, but she's getting there. But I think being with Candice LeRae is the best for her. But yeah, again, it was really good back and forth with like some matchup. Nothing really crazy. It was 1 or 2 fun spots in there. Obviously, early on, we had the Way working on Shotzi Blackheart, kind of like, isolating a team member, working on good tag team wrestling as you expect. But obviously it didn't last long because Ember Moon got into it. We had this weird thing when she done this weird, when she finished Candice LeRae, she was like doing this weird dance and done a bit of suck it kind of DX style because, why not? I don't know why. That maybe just doing it for a cool spot. But yeah, obviously we had then obviously the Way got back into it. We had this really cool kind of lovely kind of pop-up spine buster. It didn't look. I don't think it was executed as well as it could be, but it really looked really lovely, really cool by Indy Hartwell on Ember Moon and got the win. But the big spot of the match was kind of like this diving kind of dive from Shotzi Blackheart onto the outside on both Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. But look, she really didn't have very well. I'm worried sometimes she's going to kill herself with the kind of suicide dive. She's similar to like Sasha Banks when she used to do those dives from the outside. She always landed awkwardly, and I always worry that one day she's going to do it and it's not going to well. But so she done that stand well, and then obviously Ember Moon went to the top as well and done like a kind of senton from the top, dive as well. So took them both out. Cool thing is, brought Candice back into the ring, hit one a cool move, double team move. I don't know what it was. I think it was like a sweep of the leg type thing. I can't remember too well. Obviously, then Way got back into it. They hit a little double team move that they were going to win. Obviously, they kicked out. But the match ended with kind of Ember Moon hitting like kind of like a springboard, kind of a double eclipse on both Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, and then Shotzi Blackheart goes to the top, hits a nice little senton onto Indy Hartwell. They get the pin, get the win, and it felt like it was, out of all the matches, it felt like the less developed. But if it comes to like match quality, really good, really good. It was. It would be hard to say. It was. Could you sit and say NXT? If it was on the NXT show, it'd be up there. A really good match. I'm interested to see how they build up the division after this, because obviously at the moment, where's the tag team? Obviously, the way it is a tag team. You've got Shotzi and Ember Moon's the champions. I can't think of anyone. Catanzaro and what's the other name? Carter. I think they've got a feud with mate. Zhai Li at the moment, so they may not be in it, if I pronounced it right. So I think at this point they've got to kind of do what other division. They've got to build up that women's tag division, because obviously it's only been around a couple of weeks, so be interesting to see what kind of teams they can build for interesting matches. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing when they get their kind of revival DIY kind of match. Might be against these two teams, maybe if you get more time. But yeah, it was fine. A good solid title defense by the champs. The Way kind of don't need to win the titles at the moment, but I think they'll win those titles eventually, where the Way have all the gold, because I think that's where they're going. So it'd be interesting to see where it goes. So don't be surprised if the Way become like rekindle the golden prophecy that the Undisputed Era started and win all the gold in NXT. Would be interesting. But yeah, so good match. I liked it. Everyone looked good. And really enjoyed it. But awesome stuff here. But next we go into the match that we kind of set up in night one with the Gauntlet Eliminator, with whoever won that match would face the champion in this match. This is the NXT North American Championship match with Johnny Gargano going against the winner of that night, Bronson Reed. Again, I was indifferent about this match going in, purely for the fact that I don't know how well they can work together, because Johnny Gargano is kind of like the workhorse, so kind of like. He's kind of like, I would say he's kind of, who's he? You always had certain wrestlers in a company, or kind of an era, where it's kind of a situation where you want to see how good these guys are, put them against this guy, and if they hang or do really well, then it's usually a good sign that these guys are going to go. Bronson Reed has kind of been pushed really well, but as I said before, he's only been back from injury a couple of weeks, I think a couple of months, so it could be his big feud. I mean, they were building him up to probably have that title at some point. So I guess they were just trying to show if he can hang, I think, or just wanted to put an interesting match, or reward him for like good work. I don't know, but storyline wise, it did feel like a one-off match, but that's fine, because I have faith it was going to be a good match. So obviously start the match, obviously the Way did it, the match we just talked about, but like Johnny Gargano had like kind of Mark 1 kind of Iron Man armor, obviously a big. Every takeover is kind of a situation where he's always up in with kind of cool comic book callbacks. That's really awesome. So yeah, and also it makes sense if he's called himself the Iron Man. Makes total sense when the guy is basically been the takeover. Here's his place. He's always outperforming everyone in takeovers. But yeah, this match was as I said before, it's like kind of see if once we'd test the waters with him, see if he can hang, I guess, see if he's still up to that stage. But yeah, I mean, you could say it wasn't as fast paced as you expect from a Johnny Gargano match, but he had some cool stuff. He had early on, he had Johnny Gargano hitting that kind of diving spear through the top, but obviously it kind of bounced off Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed. It's kind of funny because it's like, yeah, don't do it to go like that, because the guy's got it's not going to work. But yeah, I think the story of Johnny Gargano working on the ribs here. Obviously, there were good storytelling with kind of Bronson Reed kind of feeling kind of like gassed, kind of like obviously because of the going for a grueling match the night before. Working on that story that kind of maybe he's knackered. Obviously, it's more this kind of favors the champion more than the challenger. So yes, kept working on that. He kept going like splashes and a nice little splash from the second rope. Obviously we got, but yeah, obviously once we got back into it, he tried to go for his splash from the top, but yeah, I mean it was a good back and forth, but again, as always, there's only amount of time for Theory gets involved. Obviously, as I said before, once we tried to go for the splash, but obviously he holds his leg. We did have this really weird botch though after this bit where kind of Johnny Gargano tried to go for like a Hurricanrana, but just couldn't do it to him. Don't know if that was intentional, but yeah, I mean, come on, I mean the guy's really big. It takes a really strength to do that, so it looked a bit off. But yeah, after this, obviously. Bronson Reed kind of had enough of this. Kind of after this, he hit like a power bomb here on Johnny Gargano, and then kind of after that, he tried to go for a pin on Johnny Gargano, but obviously Theory put Johnny Gargano's leg on the ropes, kind of helping his friend, his pal, his chum. Bronson Reed had enough of this, and kind of on the outside, kind of done a really good diving onto the outside, taking him out. So he's out, but this worked for Johnny Gargano. Obviously, at this point. He was kind of hitting Hurricanranas, super kicks, serious super kicks, trying to take him out. Obviously, as you knew from Elias Scott earlier on night one, you got to continuously hit kicks on this guy. This guy's huge. If one won't do, you got to do multiple. But this didn't work. Obviously, and then you got Bronson. We hit a very cool super kick from himself. Weird spot, really cool spot. Quite a big spot of this match was kind of when he went to the top and he was going to try and hit his own moonsault. That obviously he doesn't go to the top as often. Obviously his finisher is the tsunami, but like except for that, he doesn't do crazy on top. So I never seen him doing moonsaults. He tried a moonsault, totally missed. Johnny Gargano used this opportunity to kind of hit one final beat, kind of like like Drake and DDTs on the corner from inside and outside the ropes. Hit two of those, got the pin, got the win, and yes, so Johnny Gargano retains his North American Championship. That's I was surprised. Obviously, I kind of shot myself in the foot when it comes to predictions on this one, probably for the fact that I put all my money on Dexter Lumis winning. So I thought if he was going to go against Johnny Gargano, he would win. So after that, I kind of had to kind of double down on the idea that the challenger was going to beat the champion. So it's my own fault really, but I guess it's like makes sense. But yeah, I mean I kind of like Johnny Gargano's having a nice title reign, long title reign. He doesn't get a lot of them, so it's nice. He's doing his best character work, I would say. As we could say against Tommaso Ciampa, he done really well. Of course, he did. It's probably one of the best feuds NXT's ever done. But like character-wise, I'm really, really enjoying this kind of goofy, over-the-top, kind of comedic kind of thing with the way. I'm loving it. So, but yeah, I mean, Bronson Reed. I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know if it's like he's the next challenger for North American Championship. There's a feud there. I thought they were going to go for Dexter Lumis. Maybe he'll do his own thing. Johnny Gargano does his thing, and then they kind of collide later on. I don't know if Dexter Lumis is going to win the title at some point, but I don't know. But yeah, Bronson Reed looked good here. I like the storytelling. Maybe the story is that with the whole thing going to the top, like trying to try something different, cost him the match, and maybe that'll start a storyline of him getting more focused, and then maybe build him up to a point where he wins that North American Championship, hopefully. But yeah, good match here. Obviously, it was tame more on Johnny Gargano's over the top like level, but again, he looked good. Bronson Reed looked good. Everyone looked good. So if you look at what they were going for this match, definitely works. So yeah, good stuff here. So really enjoyed it. So awesome. So next, we're going to talk about the co-main of one or two, the co-main events that have a night two. Obviously, this was the NXT Championship match with the champion Finn Balor going against Karrion Kross. And the match that kind of was, as Finn Balor said, it was what took you so long. Obviously, this was kind of set up before. Obviously, Karrion Kross. Obviously, after he had that injury after the winning that the NXT Championship from Keith Lee, around about summer last year, if I remember. After that, I can't remember the pay-per-view, but again, with one of the best promo packages I've seen for a long time. Definitely, I always check out that. Really cool. But yeah, so he was out for like with this with his arm dislocated. He was out for months. Obviously, it's set up that obviously done that Iron Man kind of thing that obviously Finn Balor won in the end against Adam Cole. So he has been carrying that with having. I don't think I've seen a bad. He's been outstanding, Finn Balor, in this last year. I mean, there's great matches against Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole. There was kind of feuds like I always. It's one of his best title reigns. The best title reigns are the ones that have very consistently high levels of title defenses, in the sense of quality. And Finn Balor's definitely one of those guys. I'm loving his character and loving everything about it. But it was kind of a situation like if it wasn't going to be Adam Cole that took that title for him, who's going to take it for him? But then when he kind of set up this Karrion Kross kind of feud, because obviously he wants to win the title he never lost because he had to vacate it. So, but yeah, it made sense in the sense of storyline. But I mean, I wasn't when it comes to them like colliding. Karrion Kross I'm still on the fence with at the moment. I mean, he's got the really cool the entrance, but in work I don't think he's clicked for me yet. Maybe now they're giving him the title, maybe he can go on that run and have really classic. Can he be the guy that like pushes the level? Because I think there's potential there, but I haven't seen it. But I could sit there and say like Karrion Kross. I think in NXT, I think this could be his best match. Finn Balor did make him look really good. The story going into this also was the kind of like Finn Balor going in, sitting there saying that's kind of like I've been there, I've been where you are. I learned to control my emotions. I used to focus my emotions. So I can't be I don't get tired. I'm better than you. But when you get emotional, you snap, and obviously I'm going to use that as a weakness. That's his weakness. He gets emotional, and you could sit there and say. Kind of that's what kind of Finn Balor kind of worked on, kind of trying to get him to like early on, slapping in the face, kind of stuff like that, just to try and get him, antagonize him, getting him to get really angry, like very Hulk level, but just get him to really like lose his cool with him. Obviously got to that point, but obviously he did, and he just basically went crazy, But obviously a bit after that, he kind of like early on he had a bit with both men kind of laughing over each other's offense kind of thing, with more Finn Balor kind of say, yeah, is that all you got? As I said before, then obviously as it unleashed Karrion Kross, like literally going shot after shot. But then just when he was like Karrion Kross kind of charge at Finn Balor, he stepped out the way and kind of he went to the post. And after that, it was just basically Finn Balor working on the arm. At the moment, his strategy was working, by using his anger, made a mistake and he can capitalise on it. Really cool stuff. He obviously working on it. Working on that arm makes sense for me in the sense of that, and obviously at some point he's done some like nice kidney shots, like a kick similar to Kyle O'Reilly with that kick to the kidneys area. Makes sense obviously for the coup de grace from Finn Balor, so work on that mid area. It made sense, but obviously we had the best bit I think of the night. The best kind of moment of the match I would say was when Finn Balor hit a kind of shotgun drop kick into the corner. Karrion Kross into corner. Karrion Kross kind of counters, then he hit his suplex after suplex. Really cool spot when obviously he was trying to hit his Northern Lariat or kind of like that strike to the back of the neck. But obviously Finn Balor countered into a really cool like Pele kick. It was just like I always love when he hits that Pele kick. He can always do it in a way it looks really cool. That was the best kind of moment of the match, like really cool, like back and forth kind of like sequence. But then obviously after that, obviously Finn Balor went to the top. Obviously after this, he got the advantage. He went to the top. Finn Balor hit the coup de grace on Karrion Kross, and he kicked out. And again, similar to obviously the Raquel Gonzales, Shirai, they really made it a big deal that someone's kicked out of that coup de grace. No one's kicked out of it for nearly a year, ever since he's been in NXT in his second run. So they really made a big deal. So it's like similar spots. You can sit and say, I'll try something new, but I like that in some ways. But what I like after that is after just when you couldn't have time to think here. Karrion Kross kind of like hit like a straight jacket choke on kind of Finn Balor, kind of like, oh my god, like taking advantage of it because obviously kicked out. But obviously Finn Balor got out of it, hit another double stomp onto them ribs, started working on them with kicks and punches and stuff like that. But this kind of didn't work at this point. Obviously, Finn Balor kind of hitting a kind of locking in this kind of nicely twisting submission hold on Karrion Kross, really working on both the arms and the kind of ribs area, really looking nasty. I mean, if I would have tapped out of that if I was in that move, but yeah, obviously after this, Karrion Kross was like, I've had enough of this, and it looks like trying to get him angry was a good strategy at the beginning, but at the end it came to backfire on the champ here. So he got out of it, hit vicious strikes, like very Roman Reigns, vicious strikes here onto the back of his head. It looks like he wasn't moving at one point, he was unconscious. But killing Kross was not having any of it, bringed him up, hit his, Doomsday Suplex, or Saito Suplex on Finn Balor, and then went to the back and then hit his kind of Northern Lariat, or kind of spinning, going kind of onto the back of the neck. As I said, Finn Balor was kind of out at this point. He wasn't getting up, but just to put the nail in the coffin of Finn Balor, Karrion Kross once again got him up, hit another one of his Northern Lariats into the back of the neck. Obviously, he has neck problems, so it makes perfect sense. Pins Finn Balor, gets the win. Awesome stuff here. I think obviously I don't think if it was main event it would be underwhelming, because obviously it wasn't like the back and forth like technical masterclass you got from Kyle O'Reilly or I forgot about Pete Dunne match as well. And Adam Cole, like their matches, but this match was it was inevitable because they were going to do it eventually. But yeah, I mean, I think this, as I said, it's Karrion Kross's best matches. Do feel a bit clunky at times, but I think Karrion Kross was really good here. I think this is the first time I thought, okay, this guy might have potential, because obviously they were working on, he was kind of going his MMA kind of like jiu-jitsu kind of background, and if they're going to kind of work on that kind of style, that he's kind of more of a striker and a kind of a guy that's kind of going to take you out with kind of multiple shots, like I would say similar to like kind of Aleister Black has that kind of thing where he's like he's kind of like got that martial art or he's got that background and kind of kicks and punches and stuff. I hope so. So at the moment, I'm not really convinced about killing Kross, but it might just be me. But I'm excited. I'm intrigued to see. See where it goes. Obviously, it ends a really good title win for Finn Balor here. I don't know what they're going to do next. Obviously, again, they'll probably do a rematch similar to Shirai and Raquel Gonzales, but I don't know. But I mean, where could he go? I mean, you could have a feud with Roderick Strong, maybe that might be a thing. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he might be called up. Maybe this is a sign he's been called up to the main roster again. But I really hope not, because they won't know what to do with him. Maybe back to square one. I like the idea of him staying in NXT and doing some more work. It'd be interesting to see who he faces next. I don't know where they would go. Maybe they put him against someone that needs a kind of, I don't know. Maybe next feud, maybe Pete Dunne. Maybe Pete Dunne's the next one. Maybe there could be like a three-way feud between them three who challenges for the NXT Championship. I'm for it. So maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure where Finn Balor is going to go from here. But killing Kross, I think there's a good potential there to see where he goes as well. I think the NXT Championship kind of like division is is better than he left it, because obviously at time it was a bit sort of maybe Adam Cole. And obviously Keith Lee went, so it's like, where are they going to go? But yeah, I'm liking where they're going to go here. Maybe it might be a situation where at some point Kyle O'Reilly might go for it, because obviously he's got a big win, and we're going to talk about it just in a bit. But yeah, awesome stuff here. I think it was good. Obviously, I'm glad that this wasn't a main event, because I think it's like, if you put this at main event before the match we were just about to talk about, would have been a bit, that's not a good choice, because this, but yeah. I think I'm intrigued to see what Killing Kross is going to do. So, yes, let's leave it at that. And hopefully we'll see where they go from here. But, yeah, he is the new NXT champion. So it'd be awesome to see where they go from here. But, so now into the main event of Night 2. In the match that kind of was the kind of staple mark of great build that they've been doing for the last probably 6 months. With, obviously, we're talking about the match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match that is kind of being really booked really well. I mean, it's probably one of the most compelling storylines they've done over this pandemic kind of era of it, with the whole thing with, it felt like, so it feels like it obviously all started with the kind of thing with Adam Cole losing that match against Finn Balor to Crown, who was the interim champion at the point, win that title back. And then obviously it was Kyle O'Reilly that was getting the shots and him not winning. I was always confused why Adam Cole was being so coy and nice about it. But we obviously had that moment, I think it was 31. I can't remember, I think it was the last takeover when just when you thought, like, after obviously the kind of Pete Dunne and that kind of group kind of got involved. After that, he had a bit when they were posing, and then out of nowhere, boom, super kick on Finn Balor, and obviously thought, okay, and then a super kick on Kyle O'Reilly. Boom, looks like the Undisputed Era is fractured. No, is no more, but insult to injury. Adam Cole done a DDT onto the steel steps, took him out for at least a month. So, yeah, and obviously we're building up, waiting for Kyle O'Reilly to come back. He did after the match with Adam Cole had with Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. He was in the crowd, he was there, and obviously one of the best moments. I've never seen a intense guy, like, he wanted to basically murder the guy, beat the crap out of him. Then it was just this story escalated into, like, they try and take out the cars, they got arrested by the police, they're fighting each other in gyms, all kinds of stuff. Even, it's bad when Winning Regal's like had to get security. He's furious. So they kind of, again, this feels like the very Shawn Michaels Triple H kind of thing, brothers splitting apart by jealousy, with Adam Cole's jealousy and that kind of stuff. But yeah, had that very similar stuff here. So, and obviously it said it has to be unsanctioned. So definitely, one thing is you definitely check out that kind of, I would say, like, kind of sit down interview they did with both men. It's like great promos by both guys, but very good at showing their motivations for this. Kyle O'Reilly looks great. I'm intrigued, so I was looking forward. This was the match I think everyone was looking forward to. They always had like individual, like, kind of personal tastes of matches you were looking forward to, but this is the combination of everything they've built for the last at least a couple of months anyway. So, but yeah, so obviously the match kind of started off with one thing I got to point out. They've obviously got both new music, very generic, not being really cool. Maybe it's just until they can build something more. But yeah, nothing crazy here. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But again, I sorry to keep going about the music, but I just like really like great music is a great cornerstone of getting a character over. But with Adam Cole, it'd be interesting to see how, because obviously he doesn't have the boom bit like he did with the Undisputed Era. So it'd be interesting if he uses that as like he does it out of sync, just to piss us all off, because Adam Cole is an arsehole. He has a good character anyway. But yeah, obviously because it was unsanctioned, I like the kind of dimmed, like, kind of dark lighting they did to kind of make it feel like a fight pit kind of feel. Obviously a lot of security separated him at the beginning, because obviously they didn't want to tear each other apart. And yeah, at the beginning, both men just didn't hold back. Proper Fisher strikes here. One thing I should probably point out, this was a 40-minute match. There's no surprise when you think about it, because obviously it's these kind of matches you see like in Ring of Honor, PWG, that kind of stuff. They always go for matches like 35-40 minutes. Obviously you watch New Japan. If you're a fan of New Japan, most of their matches go that long anyway. So it's the way it is. So, but yeah, it was good stuff. Obviously Adam Cole working on the neck, obviously, because he's the one who took it out. A lot of net breakers, a lot of using the chair. I think it was a bit where he pressed the chair onto his neck. That obviously a good picture for this podcast. I probably used was like, yeah, it looks horrible. As you said, unsanctioned. There's no rules other than pinfall and submission, as you expect. So a lot of weapons were involved. Obviously, you had chairs. We had a use of a chain that they used creative ways that kind of liked. You had a bit with Kyle O'Reilly was like doing a lot of stuff like wrapping the chain around his like body parts. Like in this case, his leg to kick Adam Cole in the face. That funny thing is that will kind of lead on to the finish of the match. Yeah, again, great strikes from both men. But there was this cool spot when obviously I think Kyle O'Reilly kind of put the chain onto like the top of the ring on the rope. I think he'd use it as a weapon or something like that. But Kyle O'Reilly was just about to get into it, and obviously Adam Cole used it as a clothesline. So when he was spinballing off the ropes, boom, clotheslined him with it. I think that's really cool. A lot of stuff here. Sorry if I sound out of breath, just because a lot of stuff we're talking here. But yeah, obviously, and the other nice. There was a bit. Adam Cole was going to try and go for that setup for that DDT on the steps, but obviously, what was it? So Kyle O'Reilly countered with a sleeper. Said nah, not this time. Then he had kind of thing with Kyle O'Reilly. Kind of he was gonna do that DDT onto Adam Cole, but he couldn't do it. He just couldn't get himself. Even if the guy is an arsehole, he's still his friend. He's still his brother. Couldn't do it. I like that kind of storytelling there. A bit what kind of fit. Obviously, then Adam Cole got back into it, fighting, and he kind of fight back and forth on the outside. Was it Kyle O'Reilly set up like the announce table? cleared it up. We had a fight between them two, but obviously Kyle O'Reilly hit a brainbuster onto it and it didn't break. It's a miracle. The announce table did not break. Just when you think it needs to be broken, it didn't break. So both men must be having really bad necks at the moment, or like their body must be hurting, because doing like a brain buster on that kind of surface must have hurt big time. So yeah, so the table didn't break here. Yeah, back and forth, got back in the ring. Obviously Adam Cole went for... Obviously, you can kind of feel that Triple H has got some sort of feeling on the brick in this match, because again, he went under, he got the toolbox out. I think he got like some sort of like the wedge or something like that as well, kind of trying to hit kind of Kyle O'Reilly with it. Didn't work. Then obviously found a tire iron of all things, because why not. Trying to hit, back and forth between those guys, trying to hit each other, didn't work. I like the bit where he's like Kyle O'Reilly using the chain as like on an arm bar, and Adam Cole like using the chains as like mold. Again, this has very homage kind of stuff to... I wouldn't surprise if they took elements from that Triple H Batista match a couple of years ago at WrestleMania, or any Triple H match where he's gone against like Shawn. Probably wouldn't be surprised if that's where they got inspiration from. But yeah, obviously at this point there was a bit when he had at this point he had him locked in. Adam Cole got out of it by hitting a tire on his ribs. Obviously we know that's kind of a problem here for him. But then we had a situation where Adam Cole trying to set up the chairs, using the chairs, like kind of setting them up. But there was this nice moment when they're both like, maybe like ZCW, PWG, where they're both chairs set up, sitting on it, back and forth strikes with each other. Loved that. Then it was just like a good battle from that point on. And then Adam Cole kind of being a dick that he is, going to Dick Kick City. Wrestling Regret would, nice reference there. Low blow there, then hit you up. But very tame, obviously. This is the first super kick of the night. Kyle O'Reilly was out after this point. Really, I always love Adam Cole's super kicks. They really are great. Hit them. Then he set up some chairs. I think he was going to put the chair wedged on his neck. Obviously, try and take him out. He's going to go for a concerto kind of on his neck. Very edge. What surprise. Love that stuff. But obviously, the ref was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. And then after that, it was kind of a situation like, Adam Cole was pissed with the ref. Like, what are you doing? Don't tell me what to do. Took him out. That was a mistake, because if he didn't, he might have won the match. Obviously, Adam Cole went and we hit the Panama Sunrise, kind of like, Canadian Destroyer type kind of finish. Hit it on Kyle O'Reilly. Got the free count in the sense of he was down long enough for a free count. But the ref was out, so he was pissed. So, but then Adam Cole kind of got some chairs, throw some more chairs into the ring. We had a situation when they're fighting on the stage. We had a bit where I think Adam Cole threw a chair in fucking Kyle O'Reilly's face. It was freaking hilarious. Love that kind of stuff. But obviously after that, they're fighting on the stage. Kyle O'Reilly was able to log into a guillotine kind of submission to take him out. But the best spot probably of the night. Of again, I keep saying night. Say the best spot of the match. What you could say is sit there where they're on the stage and Kyle O'Reilly was like had the guillotine on. But Adam Cole fell onto the stage and he went through the stage. I think it's like some grailing. Therefore, he set up quite nicely, very nicely. Didn't even notice it. Went through it. They went for the stage. Awesome stuff here. But then after this, Adam Cole was the first to get out though. And I like the way that instead of like just trying to lift him up from this hole that they've created, he went to the side of the ring and kind of like them ply walls, mate. They're easy to kind of attack if you put enough pressure on it. Kicking the hell out of it, trying to get a gap so he can get Kyle O'Reilly out of there. He took the long way round, you could say, to sit there. Back and forth and him hitting himself on the railings and the kind of the barricades, that kind of stuff. But Kyle O'Reilly was in a bad way at this point. Adam Cole then went back to that try and test to get to the steel steps and hits that DDT onto that steel step. You thought, oh god, he's out. He's out. That's it. Then he put him back in the ring and then went to pin him. But kind of why just put the shot. I mean, we're not talking about post. I can't remember who I can think. I think it might have been Kota Ibushi. I think one of his matches. I think it was against Jay White. Yeah, I think Wrestle Kingdom this year. Where he done the same thing. We just put enough effort to get the shot up. Just a little bit. I love that kind of stuff. I guess they were watching the same spot. At this point, Adam Cole was like, "What am I got to do to beat this guy?" Went for. Hit another, tried to go for a Panama Sunrise. Kyle O'Reilly counters instead of a neck breaker, kind of like he lifts him up like a fireman's carry, and then I don't know what the main move's called, but he lifts him up, fireman's carry, hits him on the back of the neck. Bit of revenge for all the stuff Adam Cole's done earlier. Then obviously Kyle O'Reilly locked in his heel hook kind of submission. Obviously Adam Cole came out, but obviously before that, it was really cool, like homage where Kyle O'Reilly hits the kind of his own Adam Cole's own last shot finisher to the back of his neck, but even put the knee pad down just to kind of really put a statement on it. But obviously it's his move, Adam Cole, so he kicked out. And obviously Kyle O'Reilly was setting up the chairs at this point onto the top. Like I think it was like he kind of wrapped it around with some, like, I don't know what he was trying to do here, but it was like kind of wrapping it around the chain and then putting it on the corner, that kind of stuff. Really cool stuff. Adam Cole got back into it because obviously he hit a chair. He obviously got another chair, hit Kyle O'Reilly in the back, and then it looks like Adam Cole was going to set up the chair upside down, like with legs up, like, that's going to hurt. But Kyle O'Reilly was not having any of that. Hit low blowed Adam Cole to get revenge for a low blow that he done earlier, and then pushed him off at this point, and he fell to the floor, landing with Adam Cole kind of landing onto that kind of upside down chair with like his neck on those the legs of that chair. And then obviously Kyle O'Reilly went to top, as I said earlier, wrapped that chain around his leg, and then dropped that flying knee, or the kind of knee, his finisher, from the top on the back of Adam Cole with that, and also on that inverted chair. He's out but then a nice little shot with them all kind of like Kyle O'Reilly was so exhausted, he didn't just pin him, he just fell on him. Very Triple H Stone Cold Steve Austin there. 2 out of 3 stages of hell, where it's just like they're beating the crap out of each other so much that it's just like, it's not a pin, it's just, he just collapses on him, gets the pin, and he gets to win. And so Kyle O'Reilly wins this match. Let's be honest, he kind of needed to win this match in a sense, because again, he's had 2 championship losses. So if you could sit there and say if he lost to Adam Cole, he'd be finished, in the sense that wins do matter, people. Wins do matter. But I mean, you could sit there and went a bit too long, 40 minutes. Could have probably, as always with these matches, you could have chopped off another 5 minutes. But I mean, it was intense. It was great. It was as amazing and as crazy as you thought a match between these two would be. But I'm loving that. Obviously, Kyle O'Reilly at the end was kind of looking well up to the stage. It looked like he was going to celebrate, but tried to resist himself. Probably for the fact that he's shocked at what he had to do to take out Adam Cole. And obviously, Adam Cole was stretched out. We'll be interested to see if this feud continues, or a situation where Adam Cole might be called up to the main roster. Again, we don't know. I'm intrigued to see NXT obviously move Tuesdays, but I would say best match by far of the entire 2 nights. That's really hard. That's really hard to say, because we're not talking about like all the matches were terrible. They're freaking awesome, but end the pay-per-view really awesome. So Kyle O'Reilly gets to win, and ends night 2. I mean, I'm exhausted. As you can hear, I'm quite exhausted talking about this match. A lot of stuff happened. Sorry if it felt like I was blabbing on, but a lot of cool stuff that I want to talk about here. But again, it was intense. It was crazy. I mean, the only problem I think that this match would have enhanced with blood. A little bit of blood, but that's because of the way I like personal feuds. I was brought up watching Triple H, Shawn Michaels type matches. And obviously, we all know that when you put blood involved, it just makes it even more uncomfortable. I think that would have been nice, but I know we can't do NXT, but that's just a personal taste by my end. But I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, like, I'm intrigued to see what he go with it. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming Adam Cole's going to be out for a while. Would make sense to kind of build up that take out his friend, and Kyle O'Reilly's going to be on this like tear. Would be interesting to see if there's like a Roderick Strong connection, because obviously Go Home Show, he's possibly in that Gauntlet match, but he kind of walked out because he's had enough. His head's not in the right space. Maybe they might recompense, or maybe there might be a feud between them two. I'm not against, or maybe rekindle the rivalry against Finn Balor. Maybe he feels that he needs to take out Adam Cole. He needs to beat Finn Balor, not for the title, but just beat him. That I'm not against either. So sky's the limit for this Kyle O'Reilly character. Got to be honest, I'm looking forward to see if I think he'd win that title at some point. And it wouldn't surprise me if Adam Cole's out for a while, and he's the one that takes that title from Kross. Killing Kross, I mean. But that's a beautiful thing about NXT at the moment. I think they've built up some really interesting stuff. Like the NXT Championship, like kind of storylines are really good and really compelling. The women's storylines are really good and compelling. They've got one of the best women's divisions in the world. But I would say this is the better night, just because I think the main event was just like different level, and I think they did put like the kind of more flashier matches on the card than on the other one. I think you could say that night one was more of the hard-hitting technical matches, minus obviously the tag team match, tag team triple threat. But then night two is where the more story-driven, kind of intense kind of matches would be. So, but that might be an opinion. But I would give it, I think this is a solid 8, maybe 9. I think night 2 is better than night 1, but only by like snippets, like small snippets. But yeah, I mean, I love this. So yeah, again, if you haven't check out this match. This could be up there match of the year candidate, this one with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where he go. But yeah, so yeah, that's we got through it, people. I've done it. This is my review of NXT Takeover Stand Deliver Night 1 and Night 2. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said before, me and Josh should be back for our WrestleMania review of Night 1 and Night 2. That should be out possibly Tuesday, or Wednesday at 5 PM normal time, depending on how quickly, or hopefully we can get through it quite quickly, because there's, I think, 14 matches on 2 nights. A lot of stuff to talk about. Kind of back to ourselves in the corner here, but yeah, it should be fun. And also, it'd be really fascinating to see what the stage is. I've seen pictures, looks good, and obviously to see like there's going to be freaking crowd there, man. So it'd be fascinating to see how good to get a crowd back. You know, wrestling has barely, like this match of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly. Just like it was great, but the idea of like, for just like if there was a crowd there, it would have made it 10 times more better. But I'm intrigued, so we like see how that goes. So we'll be back for that. Obviously, watching that. Obviously, that's tonight for us. Night 1 and Night 2. Yes, obviously, as always, I do think if you like us, if you want to know more, go on our Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod. Obviously, we just found check out. Obviously, it's our kind of finale of our kind of prediction league kind of thing, where obviously all resets after this. Obviously, we've got the 6-way kind of championship match for the JSPO Championship, as well as the briefcase being the JSPO briefcase being defended, the Tag Team Championships. We're involved, of course, trying to get those titles back. We only had for a week, as well as obviously we've got the Callaway Championship as well being defended. So yeah, it's like WrestleMania have got their big matches in our prediction game, so have we. So yeah, check out on our Twitter there. If you want to get like some more thoughts, check out Instagram at the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast. Lately, I've been really trying to post up my opinions and views on kind of latest shows. We're trying to build that up again, so check that out. But yeah, if you want to listen to this podcast, you can go on. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Anchor. Kind of the 3 main ones would be on, as well as I'll be posting this on YouTube. We're trying to really build up our YouTube presence last couple of weeks, just because I think we've got a lot of stuff and we're trying to build that up as well, because obviously other stuff we've built up, want to build this up. So yeah, so check that out. Go on, just type in Josh Do Wrestling Podcast. Yes, we just put out last night a review I did 2 years ago, just before WrestleMania 35. I think when we had the Kofi situation, winning the title, and obviously Seth winning the title and Becky winning the title. When about that time, obviously going to talk, it was my WrestleMania 30 review I did, because I had a lot of similarities with that kind of thing with Danny Bryan and Kofi Kingston. So yeah, check that out. That's live on our YouTube so far. Check that out. Just if you like, would be really appreciated if you like and subscribe. Would be awesome. As I said, there's going to be more videos, so I'm going to start to build that up. So yes, if you like it, subscribe. If you like what you're listening to this review or other reviews, would be awesome. So yeah, check that stuff out. So yeah, hope you enjoyed my solo review of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 1 and Night 2. I've enjoyed talking about it. As I said, I'm a bit out of breath from a lot of talking, so I'm going to go and relax and get myself mentally prepared for watching WrestleMania tonight. So yes, so that's going to be awesome. So hope you've enjoyed. Me and Josh will be back for our WrestleMania 37 Night 1 and Night 2 review. But until then, have an awesome weekend, and speak to you guys soon. Right, bye-bye.